Good evening and welcome everybody to another episode here of the Leader Tree, where leadership grows, where strong roots build strong skills, and where tonight we're going to be discussing a very important topic, and that is the topic of communication. Because to be a leader, you have to be able to communicate, right? You have to be able to effectively communicate what needs to happen to everybody, so that everybody knows their role, so that the overall mission is a success, right? And that's true in whatever you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to lead a team on the battlefield, or you're trying to lead a group in a meeting, right? It doesn't matter. You have to be able to communicate effectively. And did you know that a survey done, which was paid for by SMARP, found that 91% of all the employees that they surveyed thought that their managers were not good at communication. They couldn't understand what they were being asked to do in a lot of instances. That's nearly everybody. Had no clue, right? And, this goes to many different things. Most people will tell you that when you get hired, the number one thing that they get failed to do is trained. Nobody trains them. They give them a little advice maybe here or there. They give them a little direction here or there, but they never really train them. They never sit down and say, okay, here is your job. Right? And why is that? Because communication keeps failing on that end. Right? It's not because they're probably not good at their job themselves, so they don't know how to train you. It's because they don't know how to discuss it with you. They don't know how to teach it to you. And if you're a teacher, you better be a good communicator. But let me tell you, I have met several teachers who cannot communicate worth a darn. Then I've met several teachers which are excellent communicators. And guess what? Some of them are really good teachers. Some of them are not. It's pretty easy to tell which ones aren't going to be. Okay? Just because you go to school and you get a degree in something doesn't mean that that's where you need to be. Right? If you're not passionate enough about it to do well, then why are you doing it? For example, I'm in finance and I'm in sales. What do I do all the time? I read books on how to do what I do. I read books from other experts that teach me things. Matter of fact, just last night, I was on a meeting with the TW3 group. It's a network marketing group. And the leader of the podcast show, Terry Wilson, who's also a member of us here at the Leader Tree, he mentioned Tommy Hopkins. And I was like, oh my God, I was just reading one of Tommy's books. So that was pretty cool. I bought this book from Tom Hopkins called Low Profile Selling back in 1994, right? And I was just rereading parts of it the other day, and it was still valid. That's the mark of a great, successful communicator right there. That's the mark of a great, successful communicator. One of the key attributes of being a good communicator that is often overlooked is being able to listen. And especially, let's say, for example, in a sales field, you go into a sales situation and, matter of fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use an example from that book from Tommy Hopkins. I'm going to use an example. So in this example, he had a girl selling makeup, and she had an appointment in a home with a lady. And she gets in there, and she introduces herself to the lady. The lady invites her in. She starts opening up her makeup case, and she sees a lady, and she starts talking to the lady instantly about makeup. He says, "Oh, well, sit down here. Let me show you some things. Let me try some things out on you." And the lady says, "Well, it's not really, you know." And she says, "No, don't worry. Trust me. I know what I'm doing." But the lady says, "Okay, but you know, I don't really." And she says, "No. You're going to look great. Don't worry about it." She keeps interrupting the woman, right? So, and then she goes on and on. She says, "Well, we need to get rid of this ugly brown eyeshadow you're wearing. And let's brighten this up a little bit." She says, "You don't understand. I really," and she interrupts her again and says, No. Trust me. You're going to feel much better when we get rid of this ugly stuff that you have on here and make you feel pretty." Well, this woman is getting annoyed with her now because she's making mistakes here. And the biggest mistake is she's not listening, right? Because right about then, her little teenage daughter comes running down the stairs, and she's checking out the makeup and stuff like that. And the woman says, "Hold on, well now I'm working with your mother and blah blah blah." And she said, "There you go, don't you look great?" And she says, "Well, I was fine before. The makeup was for my daughter." Now this salesperson, egg all over her face, right? She talked her way right out of that sale because she was busy insulting the makeup of the person who she assumed was the person that needed the makeup, right? And she wouldn't listen to see that it wasn't even for her, and that lady was happy with her makeup. If she liked browns instead of blues, that's her decision. That's not your decision to make for her. So she gets herself ushered right out the door, and then that little girl, she's going to buy her makeup from someone else now because this salesperson didn't listen, alienated the mother, who wasn't even the decider. She was just the influencer in that situation, right? So you gotta listen, is my point. And you gotta, the woman tried to tell her several times in that scenario. She was so busy talking instead of hearing. And I think that's the problem that a lot of employees have with their bosses too. Their bosses are so busy talking that they don't listen to the feedback, I've seen this in many places. I've seen it in young NCOs when I was in the Army, when they would come back from PLDC. I don't know what it was about PLDC, but it seemed to change nearly everybody. A lot of good guys would go off to PLDC, which stands for Primary Leadership Development Course. And they would come back complete jerks, right? Thinking that they were better than everybody, and you do it my way or the highway, and it takes a while to work that stuff back out of them, to get them to understand that you have to work as a team to accomplish things. If you want to be successful at it, if you want to be great. Yes, authority is important. Structure is important. Who has the final say is important. But if you're not willing to listen to your team and get their take on what it is you're doing, right? You could be wasting time that you don't have, for one. But two, you could be also creating resentment in them by asking them to do things that they shouldn't really want to do or have to do, if it can be done a better way. So, the same is true in sales teams that I've led. I have seen many a sales manager go out there and bark orders about do this, do that, and tick off a lot of people, right? And the people say, well, wait a minute, I don't work good that way. If you want me to be productive, I need to work this way. And the guy says, well, this is what we do here. So do this. End result, your salesperson is less productive. He'll do it your way, but he's not going to accomplish as much as he could the other way, right? So everybody's style is unique in the work that they do. Everybody learns to do their job the way that they learn it, right? And why is everybody's style always unique? It's unique because we don't have any communication. Nobody's on the same page. You know? So, the other thing I want to talk about with communication is the ability to share a clear message and make a complex idea seem easy to understand for anyone who's looking to understand it. Okay? And we'll discuss that in just a moment when we come back from the break. So stick around.
Business owners, you don't need to wait for your customers to pay your net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices to get your cash. Call AmeriFactors and get the cash you need wired overnight. And there's nothing to pay back.
Head ball coach Steve Spurrier here. AmeriFactors is a fast-moving game winner when your business can't afford a funding fumble, providing up to 98% of receivables in as little as 24 hours to make payroll, hire new talent, or purchase equipment faster than ever.
It's simple. We buy your accounts receivable, and if those clients don't pay, we take the loss. You get funds based on your accounts receivable, not your credit, and most applicants are quickly approved. From $5,000 to $5 million, we can help. Funding business is our business. Our team and comprehensive services make us the best at what we do.
Call AmeriFactors today. They can take you from the middle of the field to pay dirt.
Call now.
If you're a business owner and you're looking to finance those receivables and get a better cash flow, give AmeriFactors a call at 321-360-7947. That number again is 321-360-7947, and tell them we sent you. All right, we're back. Before the break, I told you we were going to talk about how to make your message clear to anyone who needs to understand it. And a great way to do that, as I can think back, is when you think about Ronald Reagan. So Ronald Reagan was an actor originally, right? Then he became a union rep to work with the studios to help people and stuff like that. And that propelled him into politics, and then he became a governor, and then later he became president. But here's the thing. How did he get so good as to accomplish all those things? Because, I love him, but the guy was not a good actor. Okay? I don't know, but he just didn't have it. Whatever it was, he didn't do it right when it comes to the acting stage. But the guy was really effective at getting a message across. And I remember reading, because one of the things that I have, remember I tell you I read about things all the time. One of the things I have is I have a collection of presidential books, right? Which means if a president wrote a book, I want to have it, right? Because this is a guy who's at the top of his field, and he's been at the top of every major situation that we've been in, and he's writing about it and how he did it, right? So Ronald Reagan wrote a book called The American Life, or An American Life, I think it was. He goes through a lot of things. And one of the things he talks about is communication, and where he would get these speeches. And this guy, he would sit there and he would go through a speech all night long, and then he would get up and speak it the next morning, right? That's dedication right there. He was coming back from his actor days. He's like, I need to know my lines. But he would tell people, his speech writers, he would tell them, he said, okay, you wrote a beautiful speech. Now rewrite it again so an 8-year-old can understand it. And that's what set Ronald Reagan apart from everyone else. And that's why Ronald Reagan is considered one of our best presidents. Because of his ability to communicate effectively. That's literally it. No other reason. Communication. He didn't accomplish any more or less than anybody else. He didn't do any major things that could set him apart. He didn't cure cancer or anything like that. But the guy could communicate effectively what was going on, what he planned to do about it, and how we could all be part of that. That's what made him great. Because Ronald Reagan understood a fundamental thing. You need to write your message and speak your message and communicate your message by whatever medium you have available to do that in a way that will speak clearly to everyone in your audience, no matter their age, their religion, their cultural heritage, or their intellectual level. He said, let's rewrite this again so that an 8-year-old can understand it. And that's what he did. And he did that very well. That's the importance of communication. And if you're going to communicate that way, you're going to be successful. But you need to be able to do it in every medium. It's not just a matter of giving a speech, standing up in front of a crowd and saying, I can talk down to you. You're not talking down to them when you're communicating. You're talking to them. You know, in sales, I always tell everybody that I train, I say, you know what? Start with a script. They want to learn how to do something. I say, start with a script. Then learn that script. Learn it backwards and forwards. Forwards and backwards. Get so good at that script that you know it by heart. Then throw it away and wing it. Wing it? What? Chris, why would you say that? I know that's what you're thinking. Look, if you're following that script and you're going down that script, how many people have gotten a call from a telemarketer and no matter what you say, they just keep going on like you never said it? I know you have. How many of you have gotten a call from a telemarketer and they're going through their script? You throw them a curveball, even if it's little league, and they go, okay. And then they'll continue on with their script, right? Or here yet, customer support. You got an internet problem or whatever. Okay, sir, I need you to unplug your modem for 30 seconds and then plug it back in for me, please. I've already done that. Okay, then would you please unplug your modem for 30 seconds and then plug it back in, please? Okay, but I've already done that. I'm trying to tell you that didn't solve the problem. Okay, so the first step we need to do then, sir, is would you please unplug your modem? Oh my God, that's what they'll do. They don't listen. They go down their script, and the script tells them, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do. I tell my salespeople, don't do that. You need to listen to what people are saying and then communicate to that people. Learn that script, throw it away, and then have a conversation. Right? If you learn the script, then you know what needs to happen. You get the high points. Right? You are well versed in what to say. But then have a conversation. What's going on with your modem, sir? Well, I don't know what's wrong with the modem. I'm not sure it's a modem issue. I unplugged it. I waited 30 seconds. I plugged it back in. I've waited now for a couple more minutes. Nothing has happened. I tried it again, thinking, well, second time's a charm. Same situation, so nothing is happening. I don't know what the problem is. Are you at that point going to say to him, well, I'm going to need you to unplug your modem for 30 seconds? No. Of course you're not. Of course you're not. You're going to go to the next thing on your list. Okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try doing this. Maybe if I can ping it on my end. So let me attempt to do that. Right? Because why would we want to waste time and upset our customers because we can't communicate effectively? All right. Let's talk about effective written communication. One of the biggest problems that I see in today's world is that we do so much texting. Texting. Everybody wants to text everything. God forbid you should pick up a phone and call someone anymore. No, just text me. Now, I get it. Texting is useful. Let's say, for example, someone says, send me such and such at my address. Great, text it to me. Right? Then I have it written in front of me so I can read it again later. Right? That's useful. But why would I want to just carry on a conversation that way? Unless I'm trying to record that conversation for future use. Literally, I have seen in a movie theater 2 girls sitting side by side, texting each other. And this is prior to the movie beginning. So there's no reason why they can't just have a conversation. How insane is that? And you know that they're texting each other, right? Because the little phone goes bzzz, and then one goes, ha, and then it goes bzzz, and the other one goes, ha, you know. So it is very clear that they're sitting there next to each other, texting to each other, when they could just have a conversation. So, I don't know. That's weird. But when you craft a good message, you feel good about the message that you've put together. And then when you send it out, and people respond to it, you get the result you're looking for. However, when you don't take the time to communicate effectively in, like, say, an email, you can make really bad decisions, really bad mistakes. You know? For example, I communicated the wrong message to the wrong person one time. I thought that I was replying to an email from a coworker who was on a call with me and her client. But what I sent was the information about that client to that client. Whoops. You know, because it wasn't necessarily flattering. It wasn't bad. But it didn't make them feel too good about me. You know. I was trying to teach the other salesperson about why things during that call went the way that it did. But it came across to the client as being critical of the client, which I was kind of critical of the client, but in a way to teach the salesperson as to where they went wrong was the point of it. Problem was, it wasn't meant for the client's eyes, it was meant for the salesperson's eyes. But see, I screwed that up, didn't I? Because I didn't take the time in my communication to verify where I was sending it or to check the tone of how I was doing it, even if I did send it to the wrong place. Now, I smoothed that over, And I told him, I said, oh, sorry, that wasn't meant for you. I apologize if you think it came off critical, but I'm actually trying to teach a lesson to the salesperson that you're dealing with. And I'm explaining why you're reacting the way that you are reacting because of, their communication. So they understood that. So we were able to salvage that. But there's a situation that didn't need to happen, right? And then there's been other times I have put together a written communication, such as an email or even a text or something, and it has been perceived in a different way than how I mean it. And that's because I didn't effectively communicate what I was trying to say or the meaning behind why I was saying it. Right? Either I was getting too technical, which could go over your head, or maybe I was too short, I don't know, or too long-winded, I don't know. But it didn't have the desired effect. So, there are moments where you're going to make mistakes, especially in the written word. But the point is, if you craft your message like, say, for example, Ronald Reagan did, then you're going to have better success. Because if you get overly technical with somebody who's not very technical, you're going to lose them, right? You got to know your audience. You're going to lose them. It's not dumbing it down. It's just making it clear. And on the other side, maybe you're saying too much when you should say less. Maybe you're not saying enough. But you got to think it through, is my point, to be effective. And then when it comes to written word, proofread it. I cannot begin to tell you how many times somebody turns something into me and it's full of grammar errors and misspellings and everything else. And I go, my God, you can't get this right, man? There are literally programs built into every computer to fix this stuff for you. All you have to do is pay attention to the little lines that show up. If it's a blue line or a green line or a squiggly red line or whatever, it's telling you something. Don't ignore it. Saying there's a better way to do this, or you're doing this completely wrong. Proofread your communications before you send them to somebody. Because that's an extension of you that you're putting out there. That's an extension of you. And you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. Whether you do or you don't. All right, folks. Thank you for joining me here at the Leader Tree, where leadership grows, where strong roots build strong skills. And I hope that we're building those roots of your communication here tonight. If you are not a member of the Leader Tree and you're just listening to this podcast, you can go to theleadertree.com and you can sign up for our list in order to be alerted. We do these podcasts every 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday nights. And you can also go to our Leader Tree Network Facebook group and join us there as well into the discussions. We have a fantastic group over there at the Leader Tree Network group and Facebook, and it's just filled with great leaders, and we'd love to have you. So go over there and search for the Leader Tree Network and join us when you can. If you do sign up at the Leader Tree Network Facebook group to become a member of our group, we also do have right now going on a cash prize contest for the member who brings in the most new members between January 1st and January 31st. So that's a $100 cash prize, and you could win it. That's right, folks. I might actually be paying you to join our group. Anyway, I'm Chris Miller for the Leader Tree, reminding you to always keep smiling. Bye-bye.